Good morning. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing People Look East. It's hymn 226 in the gray hymnal, but the lyrics are also on the screen. People look east, the time is near of the crowning of the year. Make your house fair as you are able from the hearth and set the table. People look east and sing today. Love the guest is on the way. Furrows be glad, though earth is bare. One more seed is planted there. Give up your strength, the seed to nourish, that in course the flower may flourish. People look east and sing today. Love the rose is on the way. Stars keep their watch when night is dim. One more light the bowl shall bring, shining beyond the frosty weather, bright as sun and moon together. People look east and sing today. Love the star is on the way. Please be seated.
Love is the superstar of virtues, but the word love has become the most watered down word in the English language. For instance, we say, I love the weather, or I love your dress. We made the concept of love private and contained it in our families, when the audacity of love is its potential to cross tribal lines. We have fetishized love as romance, when its true measure is the quality of sustained, practical care. We've lived it as a feeling, when it is really a way of being. It is the elemental experience we all desire, which we seek to give and to receive. Love is perhaps the most difficult task given to us, for which all other work is only preparation.
We light our chalice this morning with words from the Christian scriptures, the Gospel of Matthew.
You're here to be light, bringing out the God colors in the world. If I make you light bearers, you don't think I'm going to hide you under a bucket, do you? I'm putting you on a light stand. Now that I put you there on a hilltop, on a light stand, shine. May this light remind us to live our lives, shining with love and with compassion.
And we continue by lighting our Advent wreath. On this fourth Sunday of Advent, we light 4 candles.
We light the first candle for hope. Hope is the desire and the search for future good. A good perhaps difficult but not impossible to attain. May we look forward to the future with the expectation of the good to come. The second candle signifies peace. Peace is not simply the absence of war, nor does it come by avoiding work or anxieties or tensions. Peace arises in understanding life's negative waves and controlling their force. May we find a lasting peace that rests upon a sense of a life full of meaning and selflessness within the balance of life's darkness and light. The third candle signifies joy. Joy is not constant, but flashes suddenly upon our shadows and darkness, illuminating and transforming our interior landscape. In joy, the world becomes different, marvelous, and unique. Rejoice always in God, in life, and in each other. The fourth candle is for love. Real love is a matter of choice, an absolute choice to enfold another into our own life's flow and routine. In real life and real love, we stand open to inevitable, essential, and deeply personal transformation. May we remember that love is a verb. Without action, love does not exist.
Good morning. Welcome to this Sunday service of the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship here in Durham, North Carolina. My name is Reverend Daniel Trollinger, Executive Minister here. And whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever your race or gender identities, whomever you love, and wherever you are on your search for truth, meaning, and liberation, we welcome you here. If you're visiting for the first or second time, we invite you to rise in body or spirit so we may give you a proper ERUUF welcome. Thank you all for choosing to spend your Sunday morning with us. If you're watching on the live stream, please introduce yourself in the chat. If you have children or youth with you, they are invited to attend one of our religious exploration classes when the children are sung out after the time for all ages. We also invite you to the fellowship hall directly across the breezeway after the service for tabling and coffee. This morning's service is facilitated by the members of the Christian Fellowship, and we'll learn a little bit more about that in a second. Now would be a good time to silence any devices that you might have on your person. And this is just a reminder, we do a lot of sharing at this time of year, but with many things being passed around and different illnesses, that's one thing we do not want to share. So when we're greeting one another, both in the greet your neighbor part and in the receiving line, you can use an elbow, smile, a nod, but let's keep ourselves safe. A couple of announcements. We have several special services coming up. On December 24th, there's the Christmas pageant at 5 p.m., lots of fun. And at 7 o'clock, our candlelight service. In between those two, at 6, there's cookies and comfort, I believe is what Michael is calling it. There's also soup that's part of that. On Sunday, December 28th, we have our Kwanzaa celebration. There's one service at 11, followed by a karamu or feast. Now, if you would like to volunteer to help with the karamu, look at eNews and sign up. What's particularly needed at this moment is desserts. So let's center ourselves and welcome the gifts of this day.
Is that time of the morning where I invite down our smallest and our mediumest and our tallest folks for a time for all ages. As you come down and gather, I'm going to tell you all, and I'm going to, oh, hello, there's another tall person, more tall people who were not here a moment ago. Good to see you too. Oh, yes. We're going to be lighting our lantern that we will take with us to religious exploration in a second, so we carry our light forward. And also, one little extra thing I forgot to mention to Reverend Daniel about the pageant. We have all of our speaking parts covered, but say you just want to show up, there are opportunities for everybody who shows up to join us as a Mary or a Joseph or a wise person or an angel. That's children, that's adults, that's everybody in between. If you feel motivated to just join in the fun, and hopefully not too much chaos, but maybe a little bit. Anyway, so our story today, the theme of today's service was all, oh gosh, if somebody heard the opening words, they might remember this word. What is the word? What is the word? It begins with L. What do you think? Love, yes. Okay, good. It's on the screen behind me, isn't it? It usually is. So this is a story about love, and it's not like, you know, like Valentine's Day love necessarily, like, you know, being romantic with somebody. This is like love for all kinds of people, everybody in the world, that big kind of definition of love. And this is about love as a verb. Does anybody here know what a verb is? What's a verb? Did you say it's an action? Exactly right. Who else knew that? Who else knew that? I think I knew that this morning. Did any of you know that? Some of you might have known that too. So this is an example of somebody doing love as a verb. They are doing a loving action. Maddie, that's our main character, Maddie spilled her crayons onto the table. They made a messy rainbow. "What are we coloring, Mama?" she asked. Mama smiled. "A message for the world." Maddie ran to the window and pressed her nose to the glass. Far below, people walked in different directions. Buses, cars, and taxis honked and grumbled down the busy street. Maddie asked, "How will the whole world hear?" That does sound like a lot of people, right? "They'll hear," Mama said, "because love is powerful." Do you know what these people down here are doing? I heard a murmur of it. I'm going to ask you again in a second. So I think somebody knows it. Maybe more than one person knows it, but I'm going to have you hold it in there for a second. Maudie climbed onto her mama's lap. The crayon smelled sharp and new. Oh my gosh, I love the smell of new crayons. Sorry, I get distracted. Mama used one to write some letters, even though Mama's words stretched across the poster, so that meant her letters were very big. Yes, they were very big, but even though they stretched across the poster, they would still be too small for the world to read, Maudie thought, because even a big letter is still kind of small to the whole world. It's a lot of world. Maudie picked up a crayon as she made her own sign. She imagined her friends in their apartments, across the city, and even on the street, or on the sidewalk, not on the street. Grandma and Grandpa a plane ride away, and all the people in other countries. What were they all making? All making signs and holding signs. Were you thinking that too? Then you're on the right track. Maudie wondered, how will the whole world see our message? Mama hugged her close. They'll see, she said, because love is powerful, powerful. A lot of what you said is accurate. We're just trying to figure out the next word in the book. Somebody said love is kind, and I'm like, yeah, that works too. In this book, it's love is powerful. Oh, I forgot, this is my favorite page because I get to turn it up sideways because it's an elevator. Mama handed her a coat, and then they both laced up their shoes. Maudie tucked the posters under one arm and held Mama's hand with the other, and down, they slipped through the elevator doors. Down, down, down they went, all the way to the lobby. They lived at least on like the 4th floor, the 5th floor. Maudie hopped onto the sidewalk, then stopped and looked up. The street was packed with people, more people than she'd ever seen in her entire life. Maudie tugged on Mama's arm to ask her to kneel down. Then she whispered in Mama's ear, Mama, it's so loud, and there's so many people. They won't hear our message. Mama said, they will, little Maudie. What are they there to do? What's the word for that? Anybody know? Protesting? Yeah. And I see what's on their signs are kind protest messages, actually. Respect, be kind. We may not have chosen the time, but the time has chosen us, from John Lewis. Mama lifted Maudie up, and for a moment she felt like she was flying. On top of Mama's shoulders, Maudie could see the crowd swell for blocks, hundreds and thousands, even hundreds of thousands of people marching down the street. Some held signs like Maudie's, all saying different things. Everyone cheered as they walked together. Mama joined them. Maudie bobbed above the crowd like a canary fluttering over trees. She felt as tall as one of the buildings. More loving messages on the signs. Maudie raised her signs for everyone to see, even though she was small and the crowd was very big. So big she didn't think anyone would hear. She called out her message. There's Maudie with her sign. Through the roar, her voice was heard, and someone shouted the message back. Maudie yelled again, and more joined in. Again, she yelled the message. How many people here have been to a protest before? Anybody? Okay, a few people. How many people have ever heard at a protest or done at a protest, you would shout something, and then people would shout it back? Have you ever heard that? That's something that happens. If you haven't heard it, keep an ear out next time. Yeah? You okay? Okay. This time, when the crowd called back, Maudie's message rumbled down the street and echoed off the buildings. It was as loud as breaking waves. Do you know what the message was? Love is powerful. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's not even on the screen yet. You anticipated that very well, my friends. So she would say, love is powerful. And people would go, yes, very good. And she'd do that back and forth. And that's our story. And this is actually a picture of Mari, because this is based on a true thing, where Mari was a friend of the author, and she was up on her mom's shoulders and was proclaiming love is powerful, and people were shouting back to her during a protest. So with that loving message, let us continue on to religious exploration, and I will see you there.
Peace, salam, shalom. 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 Please take this time to turn and greet your neighbor.
Please join us now in the spirit of meditation and prayer. Spirit of life, we gather together today to celebrate the gifts of this season, a time of wonder, a time of sharing, a time of hope. We celebrate the gift of gathering heart and soul in this place, just as we are in fellowship. And we pause to slow down and remember the light that calls us to put love into action. As a people who care for one another and the world, we lift up our joys and concerns. We hold in our hearts Lisa Chandek Stark and her family as they support her mother, Carolyn Williams. We hold in our hearts Barbara Wellenitz as she recovers from illness and time in the hospital this week. We hold in our hearts all children everywhere, that they may know care, love, and belonging. We also hold all those impacted by the recent incidents of gun violence, from Bondi Beach to Brown University and places all the world over. May compassion and empathy guide the way forward to healing the heart of the world. We also hold on our hearts all those who may feel lost or alone. May they know hope and connection. And let us take a moment to lift up joys, possibilities, and successes that lay before us in life. We hold Barbara and Jonathan Sheeline as they welcome the safe arrival of their newest granddaughter, Ebba Burgu Sheeline, born December 15th. Let us appreciate the joy of our time together this morning and pause for reflection and meditation.
This is a spoken meditation to affirm loving actions. Relax in your seat. Close your eyes. I will repeat a phrase twice, then pause so you can silently repeat it to yourself. I can't control the world, but I can control how I choose to perceive it. I can't control the world, but I can control how I choose to perceive it. Today, I consciously choose to think loving thoughts, take compassionate actions, and bring forth peaceful energy. Today, I consciously choose to think loving thoughts, take compassionate actions, and bring forth peaceful energy. When I see in others, I acknowledge it out loud. When I see good in others, I acknowledge it out loud. Attacking others is an attack on myself. I choose to release this now. Attacking others is an attack on myself. I choose to release this now. Compassion is my compass. I am willing to hold space for the experience of others. Compassion is my compass. I am willing to hold space for the experience of others. My kindness is my gift to the world. My kindness is my gift to the world. Now we will have a few moments of silence together. Can I assume that my reflection is good to go? No comments. Let us know if you need anything else.
Our meditation hymn this morning is In the Bleak Midwinter. Hymn number 241 in the gray hymnal. The lyrics are on the screen.
Water like a storm.
December is a unique time of year that features a variety of holiday traditions. It's not surprising then that stories and songs surround the whole season. From singing elves to grinchy humbugs and winter wonderlands, one of the central themes is finding the true meaning of giving. In your own history, can you think of special holiday traditions, whether lighthearted or heartwarming? How is it that you choose to welcome the light at this time of year? Unitarian Universalism is a covenantal faith grounded in shared values that embraces wisdom from multiple faith traditions. It is a large tent that welcomes people from backgrounds and beliefs that are life-affirming and love-affirming, which inspire us to create a more equitable world for all. At its core is the importance of co-creating a welcoming community. We are a people of many beliefs. We are curious and compassionate thinkers and doers. We create spirituality and community beyond boundaries, working more for justice, more love in our own lives and in the world. We draw from our heritages of freedom, hope, and courage, building on the foundation of love. Unitarian Universalism is a living tradition and draws from many sources. Naming them: direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces which create and uphold life. Words and deeds of prophetic people which challenge us to confront powers and structures of evil with justice, compassion, and the transforming power of love. Wisdom from the world's religions which inspire us in our ethical and spiritual life. Jewish and Christian teachings which call us to respond to God's love by loving our neighbors as ourselves. Humanist teachings which counsel us to heed the guidance of reason and the results of science and warn us against the idolatries of the mind and spirit. And also, spiritual teachings of earth-centered traditions which celebrate the sacred circle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. In this broad recognition of our shared values and the core sources for our living tradition, one practice we adopt here at ERUUF is to invite our sources groups to share something of their tradition in Sunday service. Today, the service features the ERUUF Christian Fellowship, who will share on this fourth Sunday of Advent. The word Advent comes from the Latin word adventus, meaning coming or arrival. For Christians, Advent is an important part of celebrating the birth of Jesus on Christmas Day. The origins of the Advent wreath can be traced back to cultures who would light candles during the winter solstice to honor the return of the light. Advent is a time to welcome light into the world. The light of care and compassion. The light of generosity and grace. The light of liberating love. This morning, I invite all of us to create a space of openness and engage with a welcoming heart the stories, music, and rituals our Christian fellowship has to offer. Now, even if this may not be your tradition, listen for the gift, something you can appreciate and learn, something you can connect to your own faith and values. When we come together and celebrate our differences, the unique gifts and stories we each bring to this big tent, we have the opportunity to grow. Every time we do this, we grow stronger together and we grow deeper in our sense of beloved community. May it be so.
morning. I will confess that I have been finding it hard to let the UU principles go in favor of the new Article 2 statement of UU values, the illustration of which is on the screen here. To me, the principles were clear and concise and honestly familiar, while the values, with their accompanying descriptions and explanations, seemed comparatively long-winded and kind of squishy. And particularly squishy was this idea of love at the center. As Krista Tippett said in our opening reading, love is the superstar virtue of virtues and the most watered-down word in the English language. So, love at the center. What does that even mean? I'm fortunate. I've certainly experienced love. I was raised in a loving family and remained very close to my siblings. I fell in love with Dawn, and what started with a strong attraction has matured over the years into a deep commitment with shared values and goals. And we've been able to create a loving, very loving family of our own, welcoming into that fold our children's mates. We also are very fortunate that we have a circle of very close friends, both as a couple and individually. But while very real in my life, is any of that getting to the intended meaning of love at the center? In looking at love, I think the ancient Greeks had it right, using different words for the different types of love that humans experience. These include eros, romantic or sexual love, often associated with passion and desire. Yep, had that. Storge, natural affection, especially the love within a family. Check. Pragma, a mature love that has developed over a long period, built on commitment and understanding. Yep. Philia, the love shared between close friends, a bond of loyalty and affection. Again, check. Agape, a selfless, unconditional love that can be extended to all humanity. Maybe that's what's intended by the UU values, love at the center. Of course it is, and it makes sense given that every major religion tries to get us to live that way. Jesus exhorted his followers to love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. He was a Jew at the time, of course. The Buddhist loving kindness meditation starts with oneself and expands outward through loved ones, strangers, and enemies to end with wishing all beings to be happy, peaceful, safe from harm, and free from suffering. Hindu wisdom views love as the divine essence connecting all, emphasizing selfless, unconditional love as the path to spiritual realization. So, if that's the target, how do we get there? I think that our love of family and friends, storge and philia, give us a taste of what we're after, but they still put a boundary on our love. They still allow an us and them duality, people inside and outside the circle. For me, in these times of fierce disagreement and complete absence of civility, it is hard to get to selfless, unconditional love. As I ponder a path forward, I draw inspiration from Dr. King and the civil rights movement of the 1960s. Dr. King visualized a beloved community at the end of the struggle, a world free from racism, poverty, and war, achieved through nonviolent love and justice. And as Dr. King said, and we saw in our storybook, one of the posters, hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. In the book Becoming Wise, Krista Tippett recounts some of an interview she did with John Lewis, the civil rights activist and later U.S. Congressman from Georgia, about the mindset that was required for the nonviolent civil rights movement. He said, "Later, I discovered that you have to have this sense of faith that what you are moving toward is already done. It's already happened. And you live as if you're already there, that you're already in that community, part of that sense of one family, one house." He went on to say, "In the religious sense, the moral sense, you can say that in the bosom of every human being, there is a spark of the divine. So you don't have the right as a human to abuse that spark of the divine in your fellow human being." From time to time, we would discuss that. If you have someone attacking you, beating you, spitting on you, you have to think of that person. Years ago, the person was an innocent child, an innocent little baby. What happened? Did something go wrong? Did someone teach that person to hate, to abuse others? You try to appeal to the goodness in every human being, and you don't give up. You never give up on anyone. As Ms. Tippett said, this was love as a way of being, not a feeling, which transcended grievance and painstakingly transformed violence. So this gives me a model to try to live up to in today's world as I envision living with love at the center. After all, I've got it relatively easy. No one is beating or spitting on me. To that end, I will not assume that everyone who votes differently from me is stupid. And I'll try to get others to see that doing this is dehumanizing other human beings. Instead, I will consider that each human being has their own set of life experiences, just as valid to them as mine is to me. I will do my best not to be manipulated by the outrage industrial complex into despair at each day's new crisis. However, I will not ignore the news and its implications. And probably most importantly, I will try to comport myself in all my interactions as if the beloved community is a present reality, treating all with dignity and good humor. Thank you.
First Corinthians chapter 13 is one of the more familiar passages in the Bible. Probably everyone here has heard it read at a wedding. But Paul was not actually writing about the love between two people. Rather, he was explaining to the people of Corinth that grand spiritual gifts like speaking in tongues, prophecy, and martyrdom are worthless without the selfless, unconditional love known as agape. His message emphasizes that showing love, not spiritual status, is the superior way to live and build community, defining love as action and not just a feeling and lasting forever. If I speak in the tongues of humans and of angels, but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give away all my possessions, and if I hand over my body so that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable. It keeps no record of wrongs. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. Love never ends. But as for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end.
Well, I gotta say, there's been a lot of talk of love today, hasn't there? But that's appropriate, I think. As Steve pointed out, our UU bylaws ask us to put love at the center, not as a feeling, but as a way of being. And we are very close to celebrating the birth of a child who, in his adulthood, taught and showed his followers that love is indeed the super virtue. But I hope you're getting the idea that leading with love can be challenging. We have not chosen an easy virtue for our lives. I really like the "let me show you" kind of guy that Jesus was. I'm also a romance author. And one of the first rules of writing a good book is show, not tell. A character's actions will let the reader know what's under the surface. Over time, I've realized that the same goes for goals and beliefs and motivations in life. I don't need to know what you believe. I don't need to know what your creed is. All I need to see is how do you act and what language do you use. Some of you might be familiar with the classic hymn, "They'll know we are Christians by our love." The verses show us what love means. We will walk with each other. We will walk hand in hand. We will work with each other. We will work side by side, and we will guard each man's dignity and save each man's pride. Love shows itself in our actions. So how about they'll know we are UUs by our love? Now, we're building a beloved community here. But my question is, what does that look like, and how does that community behave? Steve has started us off with a personal perspective, which is a great start. And I found more ideas in that book he mentioned, Krista Tippett's Becoming Wise, and you'll notice we've used that a lot today. Krista is an experienced journalist and host of the podcast On Being. She has interviewed hundreds of wise people, the Dalai Lama, the poet Wendell Berry, Mother Teresa, and others from all over the world and from all cultures and religions. And seriously, the chapter on love blew me away. Krista offers insight from John Paul Lederach, who describes the years that it may take to transform a conflicted group into a new quality of relationship. He uses the word yeasty to describe groups of people who work diligently and doggedly to achieve this transformation from conflicted to beloved. Now, there are 7 yeasty behaviors and attitudes from Krista's book that you and I can all work towards. Now, listen carefully to these. You're going to hear some of what Steve presented and identified, And you can consider which of these you might adopt to help love become a way of being in your life. Number 1, you realize and embrace the fact that we are in relationship with all people on this earth simply because we live here in our blue boat home, nowhere else to go. Number 2, you refuse to accept the dualistic approach to relationship. Friend versus foe, us versus them, stupid versus wise. Maintaining polar opposites in our world only leads to dead ends. Number 3, you commit to see every person you meet as holding in themselves essential goodness, a spark of the divine, a precious essence. Your choice of phrase. Number 4, you commit to generous listening to the other person's story and to hear that story. You open yourself to be educated by the other person, and you try to see the world from the other person's perspective. Number 5, you avoid the language of hate and anger, even if you think that might be powerful. You use the word evil very carefully and with great caution. You do use the language of respect, compassion, and love. Number 6, and this should sound familiar, when you see someone doing good, acknowledge it out loud. Number 7, you gotta throw your love out into the world in faith. Reverend Sinkford's teaching on faith earlier this month is pivotal because when you throw your love out, you have no idea who it will hit, where it will hit, and how it will land. So one way to love in faith is, as John Lewis did, to live as if beloved community already exists. That's it. 7 yeasty ways. So, has one or more of those resonated with you? I encourage you to stop by the Christian Fellowship table over in the fellowship hall after this and pick up your own special copy of the yeasty behaviors that you can put into your life, our gift to you. I'm going to finish today with a poem written by an anonymous Hallmark card staff writer. But this card speaks to the need for faith. And I'm going to offer it directly to each of you everywhere because the title of the poem is A Story About You. Who in their life hasn't planted a peach pit, just hoping that somehow a seedling would grow? And then they move on to some other adventure, and if the seedling does come up, well, they don't even know. That's one way of picturing your style of living. You've planted ideas and dreams unaware. You've noticed somebody's heart needs attention, and you planted a positive feeling there. It's a part of your nature. You may not remember the kind and encouraging things that you've done, but everywhere, peach pits are growing like crazy. People are blooming. I know it. I'm one. Keep planting, my yeasty friends. May we make it so. Amen.
Before we take the offering, today's Generosity Sunday recipient is Urban Ministries, and we're going to watch a short video to learn about their important work.
People think homelessness is just, oh, I ain't got a place to live, I'll stay in the street. No, people give up.
I make you want to cry.
Go ahead, cry. It's okay, good.
I did feel like my life was over. I didn't want to tell anybody what was happening. And it wasn't even like I did anything wrong.
For 10 years, I worked, I didn't have anywhere to stay, but there was always someone willing to let me sleep on their floor or on their couch. I hit a bottom, and I had to do something. Urban Ministries was the first thing that popped into my mind.
Urban Ministry has been a godsend to us.
They're not going to let you fall. As long as you're holding on, they're going to hold on with you.
We do breakfast from 8 a.m. to 9.
Urban Ministries of Durham's mission is to end homelessness and fight poverty. And we do that by offering food, shelter, and a future to our neighbors in need. We are the community's largest public emergency shelter. Each night, we shelter approximately 100 plus individuals, to include single men, women, and also families.
Folks are able to come in, sleep. While they're here, they're able to get support from a case manager that'll sit down with them, get them connected to resources.
We also try to refer them to other agencies in the community that can work with them much longer term and provide ongoing support for after they leave.
Urban Ministries, they were always there for any and everything. When I was here, I mean, it was very stressful, very emotional time, you know. And when I needed to talk, if I was feeling very flustered, which happened a lot, it was always someone there. Urban Ministries was just the first step. They put me with one of their partners, Housing for New Hope, and they were able to put me in an apartment. I'm actually looking to move. I've been there for 5 years, going through the motions and cycles of jobs. I thought about Urban Ministries again, you know? So I came right on back as an employee. They believe in me, and a lot of times that's all you need, you know? That's all you need to keep going.
So as they come for breakfast, everyone gets the lunch bag. I love coming to work because I love to serve the people. The kitchen here at Urban Ministries of Durham provides meals 3 times a day, 365 days a year. Anyone in the community can come and eat. The volunteers are vital to our operations here. They serve, clean, prepare meals. We couldn't operate without our volunteers. Looking good, looking good. The uniqueness of Urban Ministries is the span of what we do here. We have food distribution, the clothing pantry, job placement, housing placement, just started a drug rehabilitation program.
You know, I'm proud of you and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
In workforce, our main mission is to help clients have the income that they're going to need to both get approved for housing and then hopefully to keep that housing long term. If you want to, I can fill out a DEAR referral form for you.
That sounds great.
Often we have clients who are very well qualified for a certain type of job, but the application process is just totally foreign to them. So a large part of our role is to help people bridge those gaps and get over those barriers.
We got married while we were here. You guys were there through all of it. You guys saw us get married and everything. He got a job within a week of being here and still has the same job today.
Urban Ministries got us into a house in a room. We've been at that place, what, 6 years?
I'll say it's been a minute.
6 years. Right now, 6 years later, through Urban Ministries, we're about to get our apartment. Wednesday?
Yes. I want to burst into flames.
I can't wait.
Urban Ministries has played a big part in my future because if it weren't for them being here, I don't know where I'd be.
I was able to get through homelessness through prayer, my wife, and Urban Ministries.
Generosity is one way we can put love into action. As the greeters come forward, if you have something tangible, please place it in the pouch. Otherwise, you can point your device at the QR code and go to our giving portal. Thank you. We give thanks for our many gifts and blessings, the gift of special music, thoughtful sharing, generosity to help urban ministries, and of course, the gift of your presence here. Wendy will now lead us in our closing hymn.
Please rise in body or spirit. Join us in singing Love Will Guide Us. Lyrics are on the screen. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from grief to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot speak before angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from grief to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
We depart this sanctuary to return to a world that will test our resolve to be just and loving. We go forth remembering the commitment of courageous men and women who did weep and pray and rejoice and act because they followed the way of love. We join them as we say yes to love with our lives. Go now in peace to love and serve the world. May we make it so. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be.
All right. Thank you.
a couple of parts that I was worried about, but when I got there, I was like, this thing's worth a crap.
Oh yeah? What sign is that?
Supposed to be a good one, Donna.
Okay.
But every time I'd press it, nothing would happen, so I'd have to hit it with my drum finger.
I have an air turn.
Is it pretty responsive?
Yeah, it's like $80 or so. But
Well, that one's probably 50.
yeah, I got it off a musician's friend.
Okay.
I think a while back. But
Air turn?
Air turn, yeah. But it's like the same shape, color, whatever.
It's not responsive. I don't know. It's always. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Always been that way. So
Yeah, you need one you can go right. I saw you had it and I was like, oh cool, but
it doesn't work. Never work. And if you do, like when you start doing, I think it gets latent. You have to really stomp on it sometimes, and I mean you can't do that. You got one chance and that's it.